Good morning, everyone. It's Amanda here, and it is 10:15, so that means it's time for us to get started with our morning power flow. Today's class is a 75-minute practice, so feel free to grab any props that you might need. I don't have anything specifically planned that would require props, so just whatever you normally use in your practice, and maybe a bottle of water. Feel free to stop, take child's pose, down dog, take a water break at any point in time during today's practice. And most importantly, make sure to listen to your body. As we get started today, we will begin laying down on our spines all the way along on the mat. So whatever position is comfortable for you, maybe that's coming into your Shavasana, your corpse pose. Maybe you bring the feet down, knees up, and allow the knees to fall in towards the midline. Maybe you bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to go wide. Again, just settling in, taking that moment to choose what your body's calling for this morning. Just taking a few moments to ground and center here as we begin our practice. Begin to collect in your mind all of those little distractions that might be occurring since we're practicing at home. Maybe it's the sound of someone doing work outside. Maybe it's the sound of children or animals running around. Maybe it's the things that you've left unfinished this morning or the things that you have yet to do. Collect all of those thoughts up, and then set them aside, off to the side of your mat. Bringing your awareness and your attention to only the things that are inside the four edges of your mat. And shifting your awareness now to the body. Allowing it to open up, allowing it to soften. If you notice yourself holding any tension through the legs, through the feet even, try to let them go. Allowing the back of the head and the shoulders and the hips to firm down into the mat. As you sink a little deeper, and finally bringing awareness to the breath, continuing to inhale and exhale through the nose. Just noticing your breath for now. And then beginning to deepen that breath. Inhaling, pushing the belly towards the sky. Exhale, soften. Inhale, filling up the belly and the front side of the ribs. Exhale, let it go. Adding on, inhaling, filling up belly. Fill up the front side of the ribs and now the back side of the ribs as well. Exhale, soften. Everything all together. Inhale, belly, front ribs, back ribs, collarbones. And exhale, let it go. Taking two more just like that. Completing our deep belly breaths. Filling up, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Last one. Filling everything all the way up to the top. And then exhale, softening back in. Allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And then slowly beginning to flutter the eyes open. Bringing the hands to the outer edges of the thighs or wherever your legs are at. Let's transition them so that the feet are down, knees are up. Feet about hips distance apart. Maybe walk those heels in a little closer towards the glutes. Arms come down by your side. As you inhale, we're going to press through the heels. Lift the hips, lift the arms, sweeping the fingertips up overhead. And then exhale, arms come back by your side as you roll down one vertebrae at a time. When you get to the bottom, press the low back into the mat, neutralize the spine. Inhale, pulling yourself away from the mat, arms reach up overhead, backs of the hands come to the mat. And exhale, slowly lowering back down, one vertebrae at a time, arms come back by your side. Tuck the tailbone under, press the low back into the mat, tilt the tailbone slightly skyward. Inhale, pull yourself away from the mat, coming into that bridge. And exhale, slowly lower. Two more just like that. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower down. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Ending with the hands down by your sides, fingertips reaching forward. Tuck that tailbone under, engage the low belly. Draw the knees into the chest. Keep the knees and the toes together. As you exhale, lift the shoulders away from the mat, hovering here in a crunched position. This will be our inhale. As you exhale, reverse crunch, draw the knees towards the nose. Inhale, slowly start to lower the feet to hover. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, toes hover over the mat. Crunch on the exhale. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale. And inhale, back and forth with your own breath. Really engaging the low belly here to pull the knees up and in. Last 3, 2, 1. From here, toes hovering over the mat. Keep those shoulders lifted. Inhale, extending the legs. Exhale, draw knees into the chest. Inhale, extend. And exhale, knees in. Back and forth. Slowly with control. Keep reaching the fingertips forward. Last 3, 2, 1. As you extend the legs forward, slowly rise yourself all the way up to seated. Flex the toes towards the face. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, hinge and fold. Work to lengthen out the hamstrings, pressing the backs of the thighs down into the mat, lifting that tailbone up and back as you lengthen the heart forward. Begin to settle in on your exhale. With your inhale, almost finding a halfway lift, a little bit of movement early on. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, let it go. Inhale. And exhale, just settling into the pose. Reaching the crown of the head forward, tailbone back. And then slowly beginning to roll all the way back up to seated. As you come up high on your seat, draw that right foot into the left inner thigh, coming into a figure 4 position. From here, that right hand sweeps back behind you, fingertips facing away. Inhale, lifting the left arm up, lift the hips, open up. Nice side body stretch here through the left side. Press into that left foot, feeling the stretch all the way from the left pinky finger down into the outer edge of the left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Send the hips towards the right edge of your mat. Exhale, coming back to that seated figure 4. From here, that left hand sweeps behind you. Run across that right leg over the left, pointing the toes towards the left edge of the mat. Inhale, rising up, coming into a modified side plank, finding that same side body stretch through the opposite side. Noticing this time the stretch through the right hip, through the right side body as you reach the ribs skyward. Slowly lower the hips down to the earth. Turn to face the front of your mat. Keep that right leg crossed over the left, and we'll draw that left heel back by our side, coming into a shoelace pose. Adjust the hips so that they're nice and even on the earth. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, broaden the collarbones, and choose to stay here or begin to lead with the heart hinging forward. Keeping a nice long spine here, so most likely not going as far as you normally would into the fold. Try to release through the outer hips. As you stay here, maybe gravity takes hold, drawing you forward, deepening the hinge. Inhale, coming all the way back up to seated. Uncross the right leg, reaching it forward, and then bring that left foot to the right inner thigh, coming into our seated figure four on this side. From here, that left hand sweeps behind you, fingertips facing away, rooting through that right heel, root through the outer edge of the left leg as you lift the hips up. Nice side body stretch this time through the right side. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. Lift the hips high. Push them forward slightly. And exhale, slowly lowering down. That right hand sweeps behind. And we'll cross that left leg over so the toes are pointing towards the right edge of the mat. As you inhale, lift up, pressing into both feet. Reach that left arm up overhead. Tilt the hips up towards the sky. Shoulders stacked. Feel the stretch here. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly releasing the hips all the way down. Keep that left leg where it's at as you turn to face the front of your mat and sweep the right foot back by the left glute. Take a moment to adjust here, stacking the knees, adjusting the hips, moving them from side to side. And as you inhale, grab onto the shins or the fronts of the ankles, lift the heart forward, neutralize the spine. Stay here or begin to hinge from the hips. Still gazing down and forward on the mat. And with every breath we take, maybe just a little bit deeper in that hinge. Still hinging from the hips instead of rounding into the back. One more breath. Allow the outer hips to soften. Slowly coming all the way back up, right? We'll sweep the left leg off to the left side and come to hands and knees tabletop pose. Taking a moment to set it up. Fingers spread nice and wide, gripping the mat with the fingertips and the knuckles. Pointer fingers pointing forward. Knees about hip distance apart. Lift the back of the heart towards the sky. And then as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze forward, tilt the tailbone up. As you exhale, press yourself away from the mat, rounding through the upper back and shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly, gazing forward. And exhale, round it out. Back and forth with your own breath. As always, feeling free to add on any movements you see fit here. Maybe wiggling the hips from side to side. Maybe taking a wrist stretch. Some circles in your table. Or just continuing to stay with your cats and cows. And as you're ready, taking that one last round of breath, coming back to a nice neutral spine, And let's lower down to the forearms. Arms are parallel with each other. Fingers still grabbing the mat. Make sure to press down through the entire forearm, through the hand, as we tuck the toes under and just lift the knees to hover. Press the heart towards the thighs, pressing yourself towards the back of the mat. Draw the belly up and in. Inhale, begin to extend the legs, again pressing the heart towards the thighs. As you exhale, lean forward, work to tap the nose towards the top of your mat. Press it back, keep the legs long for now. Exhale, bend them to hover. Inhale, extend the legs, lift the hips, send the heart back. Send it forward, nose between the thumbs. Inhale, pressing back, heart towards the thighs. Exhale, lower knees to hover. Inhale, extend the hips up and back, lengthen the legs. Exhale, shift it forward, tap the nose, push back, heart to thighs. Exhale, slowly lower, one more. Inhale, extend the legs. Exhale, hinging forward, nose tap. Press it back. Lengthen through the upper back. Exhale, slowly, with control, bring the knees all the way down. From here, walking up to one hand and then the other, passing through table. As you tuck the toes, lift the hips to the sky, coming into your downward facing dog. First downward facing dog of the practice. Feel it out. And then begin to find movement, whatever feels right today. Listen to your body and choose to open where your body's asking for you to open, and choose to honor your body where it's asking you to honor it today. And as you're ready, finding stillness in your downward facing dog, pressing the fingertips down and forward. Draw the shoulders down the back, reach the crown of the head towards the top of your mat. Lift the sits bones up and back, lengthen the hamstrings. Inhale, lifting the gaze forward. As you exhale, one footprint at a time. Work to lengthen the hamstrings as you walk all the way to the top of the mat. Making this transition meaningful, purposeful. Meeting with the feet together or about hip distance apart. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, finding length. Reach the crown of the head forward, tailbone back, press into the inner arches of the feet. And exhale, let it go. Maybe a slight bend in the knees. Let's grab those opposite elbows, picture frame the face, and hang in ragdoll. Shake the head yes and no. Work to release any tension out of the crown of the head, out of the shoulders. Finding that space through the low back, through the hamstrings. And then coming back to center, releasing the hands all the way down to the earth. Inhaling, halfway lift. Make sure those hands reach to something. And exhale, fold. Bending into the knees, slowly rising all the way up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Adjusting the feet here so you can get a firm grip on the mat with all four corners of the foot. Hands actively pressing together at heart center. Take the elbows wide, tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, circle sweep. Lift, find length. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. And as you exhale, plant the hands, we'll step back to our high plank pose. First plank of the practice, so settling in here, gripping the mat with the fingertips and the knuckles. Spiral those triceps back in space. Hug the inner thighs together and lift up on the kneecaps. Draw belly button towards the spine. Crown of the head reaching forward. Exhale, hinging forward, shoulders come past the wrists. Lower halfway down, ribs glide by the elbows. Flip the feet, rise up into your back bend, and then exhale, downward facing dog. A few more just like that, just a little faster, building that heat and energy. Gazing forward, starting with the opposite foot, one footprint at a time, walking slowly, expanding the hamstrings, coming back to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, let it go. Earth to sky all the way up, inhale. As you exhale, send it right back down. Inhale, halfway lift, find that length. And exhale, plant the hands, stepping back. High plank, shifting forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. Gazing forward, walk, step, hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Earth to sky all the way up. Exhale, right back down. Inhale, find that length, halfway lift. And exhale, hands down, feet go back however you'd like. Shifting forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting in our downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, that right leg lifts up and back. So keep reaching the right toes skyward, but work to keep the right hip closed. Draw the left hip up and back in space, extending through the left hamstring. Exhale, draw right knee in towards the nose, shift it forward. From here, we're gonna lower that right knee straight down to hover over the mat. As you exhale, pull it straight back up into the chest. Exhale, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift. One more, lower, lift, send it up and back to three-legged dog. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. Opening through the right hip, keep sending the left heel down towards the earth. Even out the weight through the hands. Press the base of the ribcage towards the thighs. As you exhale, step the right foot all the way through, finding runner's lunge. Nice and lighten those fingertips. You shouldn't really need them here. Draw that right hip back in space, left hip forward. This is our inhale. As you exhale, keep the spine nice and long. Begin to extend the front leg and fold. Inhale, shifting forward, runner's lunge. Exhale, hinge and fold. So wherever you're at, working to keep that length through the spine, back and forth. The inhale, we lengthen. And then the exhale, we fold, drawing the right hip back in space. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Two more. Forward and back. Last one, forward and back. Holding here, lifting that left heel towards the sky. Draw the right hip up and back. Inhale, halfway lift, rebend that front knee. Plant the left hand and open up towards the right side of your mat, coming into a modified side plank. Right hand to right hip, and we'll walk those right toes closer towards the back of the mat so that the knee is over the ankle. From here, coming up onto the toes of that right foot. You can stay here or slowly transition that right leg behind the left, toes tap, and then hop it back over to the front. Back and front. Back and front. Back, pause here. Open that right side body towards the sky, reach the right arm up overhead. And then exhale, hands down to the mat, centering yourself in plank, going through your flow. And we'll meet back in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, that left leg reaches up and back. Square the hips here. Reach those left toes skyward. is you reach the right heel towards the earth. Keep the shoulders plugged into their sockets. As you exhale, left knee in towards the chest, shift it forward. And we'll trace the forearm here, lowering left knee to hover. Inhale, draw it straight back up. Exhale, lower. Lift. Lower. As you lift, lift the hips. Lower. Lift. Last one, lower. Lift all the way up and back to three-legged dog. Again, bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. Reach that left knee skyward. Maybe even gazing underneath the right armpit to see if you can see the left foot. Open up. And exhale, step it all the way through. Finding your runner's lunge. Take a moment to set up that foundation. Lead the heart forward, left hip back. This is our inhale. As you exhale, nice long spine. Extend the front leg, hinge and fold. Inhale, rebend the front knee. And exhale, fold. So you might not be going as deeply as you think here. With that spine nice and long, you're going to immediately start to feel the tension, maybe even on the front side of the shin, the back side of that left hamstring, maybe deep into the calf. Just notice what's happening and feel it out. What you feel will tell you how deep to go. Breathing here, 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Pause here in your fold, reaching that right heel towards the sky. Hug the inner thighs together. Inhale, halfway lift, rebend that front knee. Plant the right hand and spin all 10 toes to face the left edge of the mat. Left hand to left hip. Maybe inch that left foot back so it's underneath the knee. Pausing here, staying here. Maybe shifting the weight into the toes of that left foot. And then picking the left foot up, stepping it behind you to tap. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Last one, forward, back. Allow the left toes to settle as you reach the left arm up overhead, lifting the hips skyward, meeting somewhere between a side plank and a wild thing. Slowly release the left hand down to the mat, centering yourself in plank. Shift it forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Sink those heels towards the earth. Inhale, right leg reaches up and back. Exhale, knee into chest. Slowly lower right knee to hover. And then bring it back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, into chest. Lower. Lift. Lower. Lift. Last one, lower. Lift. Take it up and back. Three-legged dog. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. And then exhale, step it all the way through. Lower the back knee down, rise up Anjaneyasana. So, nice low lunge here, sinking that left hip down and forward. And imagine drawing that right heel back in space. Lifting the heart forward, try to neutralize the tailbone. Lengthen through the upper body. And as you exhale, bring the hands together overhead, and then bend the elbows, bringing the thumbs to the back of the neck. Keep lifting the heart forward. Find the engagement in the legs to hold you here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands down to frame that front foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up, rise up, crescent lunge. Again, drawing right hip back in space, squaring it with the left. This time, arms come out to a T. As you exhale, right arm sweeps on top of the left, either grabbing opposite shoulders or coming into your eagle arms. Lift the triceps away from the mat. Push the forearms away from the face. Again, finding that engagement through the legs, slowly hinging forward. We're gonna lift that left leg up and back, coming into warrior three. Spread the shoulder blades towards the sky. Lift the heart away from the earth. Back leg nice and active. Try to avoid crunching in the low back. As you exhale, left knee into the chest, drawing you all the way up to stork. Once you find that balance, then go ahead and release the arms, bringing them down by your sides like kickstands. Inhale, sweeping arms up overhead. Draw the shoulders down the back. As you exhale, bend into that right knee and slowly start to settle left foot down next to the right as you find your chair pose. Send the hips back and down. Tuck the tailbone under. Inhale, root to rise, maybe taking a back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back, and go through your flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up and back. As you exhale, knee into the chest. Last ones, I promise. Slowly lower, left knee down to hover. Exhale, draw straight back up. Slowly lower, tracing the forearm. Exhale, back up. That's 2, 3, 4. Last one. Draw it up. Send the left leg up and back. Bend the knees, stack the hips, open up. Inhale. Exhale, step it all the way through. Lowering down onto the right knee. Rising up, low lunge. Take a moment to set it up. Maybe you keep those right toes tucked under to make sure that the foot's not splaying in or out. Draw the left hip back in space. Try to find that length through the upper body, the tuck of the tailbone. And then hands come together overhead. Inhale. Exhale, thumbs to the back of the neck. Lift the heart forward. Try to keep the elbows close. Keep breathing. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, hands frame that front foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, runner's lunge. As you're ready, sweeping the arms forward, find your crescent. Settling in, lift that back knee skyward. Send the back heel towards the back edge of your mat. Opening the arms out to a T. This time, left arm comes on top. Again, giving yourself a bear hug or coming into your eagle arms. Pressing the arms away from the face. Keep the legs here nice and strong. Slowly leaning forward, putting the weight entirely into that left leg as you lift the right long behind. Square the hips. Draw that right hip down towards the earth. Try to find some separation between the crown of the head and that back foot. One more breath. Try to lift yourself away from the mat. Exhale, right knee into the chest as you rise up, finding your stork. Find your balance first, and then slowly unwind the arms. Bring them down by your sides, palms facing forward. Inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, soften into the left knee. Slowly bringing that right foot down to meet the left as you settle into chair. Send the hips back and down. Inhale, root to rise, maybe a back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back, and go through your flow. And we'll all meet back in our downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And exhale, side out. Inhale. Exhale. So we're going to start our flow off a different way this time. Inhale, lift the gaze forward. As you exhale, lower the forearms down to the mat. So start by spiraling the triceps back. Lower the elbows down so that they're underneath the shoulders. As you're ready, inhale that right leg up and back. Exhale, right knee into the chest, shifting forward. So from here, press into the hands, knee into chest, step it through. Back foot spins down all the way. Rise up, warrior one. So just a different entry point this time around. If it doesn't work for your body, you can just step through like you normally would. Draw that right hip back in space, left hip forward. Lift the back of the heart forward. Shoulders over the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands come behind the back, grabbing opposite elbows or interlacing the fingers. Drag the knuckles towards the earth. Lift the heart. Exhale, leaning forward, hinging, folding. Just finding that space here, finding that balance, working to magnetize right shoulder and right knee towards one another. Inhale, take all that energy, rise straight back up. Hug that right knee in towards the midline. Exhale, hinge and fold. Nice long spine. Inhale, rising straight back up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Staying here this time. Maybe the hands stay at the low back. Maybe they reach up towards the sky. Keep tucking those hips in towards the midline. Slowly rising all the way back up. Keep the spine long. Arms reach up overhead. As you exhale, we'll open out warrior two. Adjust that back foot so it comes down parallel with the back edge of the mat, opening that right inner thigh. Sink into that front knee bend. Draw the shoulders together on the back. Inhale, extending that front leg. Shorten the stance if you need to. As you exhale, find triangle. Right arm reaches forward and down. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Try to keep length through the sides of the body. Crown of the head reaching forward. Maybe the gaze goes down towards the right big toe or up towards the left thumb. Again, work to keep those hips tucked underneath the body and spiral that right shoulder over the right thigh. Deep breath in. Exhale, bend the front knee and cartwheel the hands down to the mat. We'll plant the left hand and begin to open up side plank. So you can just step that right foot back to meet the left. You can grab onto the big toe and open up, maybe to tree, maybe to your full side plank, your choice. Lifting those hips skyward. Reach through the right hand. And then slowly allow those right toes to settle behind the left leg. Lifting the hips this time, coming into our full wild thing. Spiral the heart towards the sky. Use the glutes to drive the hips up. Exhale, finding yourself back in plank, centering here. Shift it forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. And again, gazing forward between the hands. As you exhale, begin to lower the forearms. Maybe it's one at a time, maybe both at the same time, to the earth. Lift the left leg up and back. As you exhale, left knee into the chest. So there's going to be a stopping point. At that stopping point, press into the hands, shift it forward, step through. Back foot spins down all the way. Rise up, warrior one. Taking a moment, squaring those hips. Draw the right hip point forward, left hip point back. Nice and strong through that right leg. If you need to, inching those left toes forward a little bit. Try to lift out of the low back, finding length through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, hands behind the back, or grabbing opposite elbows. Wherever you're at, lift the heart. Keep pressing into the back foot. Exhale with a nice long spine. Begin to hinge and fold inside the left thigh. Taking the gaze down, maybe towards that back foot. Hugging left knee towards the left shoulder. As you inhale, engage the legs, engage the core to lift you straight back up. And exhale, slowly with control, lower down. Keep drawing the shoulders together on the back. Inhale, lift, rise up. And exhale, folding here, pausing here, keeping the hands or the fingers at the low back or reaching them towards the sky. And when I say reaching towards the sky, there's a difference between pointing and reaching. If they're just pointing towards the sky, your shoulders are probably settling towards the ears. If they're reaching, your shoulders are lifting away from the ears. Slowly bring yourself all the way back up, reaching the arms back up, warrior one. Exhale, open out, warrior two. Adjust where you need to and settle in. Taking a moment to open the right hip, open the left knee. Finding that space between effort and ease. One more breath. Inhale, extending that front leg. Again, maybe shortening your stance if you need to. Exhale, hinging from the hips, leaning forward. Left hand comes down, right arm goes up as you find your triangle. Keep those hips tucked. Keep stacking the shoulders, gazing up or gazing down. Nice active T with the arms. One more breath in. Exhale, bend that front knee, curl the hands down to the mat. From here, we'll plant that right hand. Take all 10 toes to face the left edge of the mat. Maybe you grab onto that big toe and bring the foot to the inner thigh, finding your tree side plank or whatever other variation suits you today. If you found tree, just make sure that energy is not going against the right knee. Lift yourself away from the mat. And slowly release the left toes behind that right leg. Lift the hips, find your wild thing. One more breath. Exhale, centering yourself in plank. Shift it forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, or choosing to lower to the knees, to the shins, and finding your child's pose or seed pose. So taking 5 breaths here, coming back into your body, come back into that space, work to slow the breath down. Even it out. If you notice it's a little choppy, work to find even inhales and exhales. Grab a drink of water, whatever you need for the next 3 breaths. And as you're ready, begin making your way back into that downward facing dog. And we'll lift the gaze forward. Again, as you exhale, lower forearms down to the mat, wrap the elbows in, right leg lifts up and back. As you exhale, right knee into the chest. When it stops, press into the hands, shift forward, and step it through. Rise up, warrior one. Draw that right hip back, left hip forward. We won't be here for long, just feel the pose. Inhale. Exhale, open out, warrior two. Spin that back foot down. Make sure you have that heel to heel or heel to arch alignment with the feet. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, finding side angle. So in your side angle, that right arm is going to reach back towards the left leg. That left arm is going to reach forward. Keep nice and long through the side body. As you inhale, we'll rise up, tick-tock it back, reverse. Left arm reaches forward, right arm reaches back. Exhale, shifting forward, finding that side angle. Stack the shoulders, inhale back up, reverse. A few more just like that, just reaching the energy in opposite directions. Keep the hips tucked, keep the shoulders open. Lift the weight out of the front toes. One more, inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, rising all the way back up to warrior two. Again, extending that front leg, maybe walking that back foot in. Come back to your triangle. Seeing if you can increase the length through the sides of the body. Exhale, left hand to left hip. Bend into that front knee. Reach the right fingertips forward and open up into your half moon pose. So maybe you lift that left leg straight up and back, or maybe the toes drag along the mat. Today, instead of focusing on lifting that top arm, focus on stacking the shoulders and finding maybe some lightness in the base fingertips. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Both hands come down to the top of the mat, closing off the hips as you sink the heart towards the thigh, finding your standing splits. Hands can stay on the mat for support. Maybe that right hand comes behind the ankle, drawing you closer, closing the gap. Lift those left toes a little higher. If you have the bind, unwind. Slowly release left leg along behind. Inhale, rise up to crescent, clean the slate. Exhale, hands to mat, stepping back to plank, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the gaze forward. As you exhale, lowering to the forearms. Left leg reaches up and back. Exhale, knee in. When you can't bring it in anymore, press into the hands and step it through. Rise up, warrior one. Focus to draw that left hip back, opening up through the right hip. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, open out, warrior two. Again, settling in, finding the legs here. Lift up on those front toes. Shift some of the weight to the back leg. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're gonna lean forward. Left hand reaches back, right arm reaches forward. Nice and strong through the legs. Inhale draws you up. Reverse the arms. Reverse the way that your torso is going. Exhale, side angle. Keep the shoulders open. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse. One more. Finding side angle. Reverse. And we'll meet back in that side angle. Reaching, spiral that right shoulder back. Rise up, warrior two. Walk that back foot in if you need to. Extend the front leg. Hinge the hips back as you reach forward. And find your triangle, settle in. Nice and active, even through that back leg. Draw up on the kneecap. And imagine drawing that left heel back in space. Inhale. Keep the length. Exhale, right hand to the hip. We'll bend the front knee. Sweep the fingertips forward. And again, you can drag or simply lift that right leg up and back. Toes out towards the edge of the mat. Heel presses towards the back wall. Spiral that right shoulder back. Open the heart. See if you can get light in those base fingertips. Spiral the left inner thigh towards the right edge of your mat. One more breath. Exhale, hands come down to the top of the mat. Close the hips and reach that right leg skyward, sinking into your standing splits. Hands on the mat for support, or take your bind. Gazing towards the back of the mat if the balance supports it. Inhale, right leg long behind, open up. And exhale, slowly release the bind. Right toes lower, long behind. Inhale, rise up, clean the slate. And exhale, hands down, stepping back, high plank. Shift it forward, lower down, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up and back. This time, right knee, right elbow shifted forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, shift it forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, cross it under. Extend that right leg out. Spin to the inner edge of the back foot. Open up, fallen triangle. Press into both feet. Exhale, left hand down to the mat. Draw that right knee into the chest, and we'll step it forward. Runner's lunge. Inhale, rising all the way up. Exhale, arms come out to a T. From here, that right arm will come on top, grabbing opposite shoulders or eagle arms. This time we're gonna lean forward. Find that length. Exhale, left knee in, and cross it over the right. Sink into your eagle pose. As you find your wrap of the legs, wherever that is, work to stand up tall, but sink into the knee bend. If you'd like to challenge the balance here, maybe on the exhale, you curl it in, bringing elbows towards the knees, and inhale, lift. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift. Last one, curling. Inhale, lifting. Unwind the arms and bring the hands to the hips. We're gonna uncross the legs and step into a side wide fold facing the left edge of your mat. Toes and heels slightly out. Puff the heart forward, draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, lead with the heart, hinge and fold. Bringing the hands down to the mat now. Let's work to keep the spine nice and long. So, normally, I know we try to round the head towards the earth. Instead today, what I want you to do, wherever your hands are at, maybe they're on the mat, maybe the outer edges of the ankles, maybe walking back, work to lift the tailbone up, but keep the spine nice and long. Gaze down but forward. Keep the shoulders together on the back. Feel that intensity in the hamstrings. One more breath here. Slowly bring the hands underneath the shoulders. So gripping the mat with the fingertips, with the knuckles. We're gonna stack the shoulders over the wrists, maybe even hinging slightly forward. And again, I guess I'll turn to the side so you can see. Hinging slightly forward as if we were coming into chaturanga. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna find a sense of lightness in that right foot and lift it up to the side. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly lower right foot down. Walk yourself to face the front of the mat, runner's lunge. Plant the left hand, spin all 10 toes to face the right edge of your mat. Slowly sink the hips down towards the earth. Inhale, straight back up, reaching through the right side body. Feel the nice stretch on that right hip. Exhale, hands down, stepping back to plank, and go through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Last side, everyone. You got it. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, shift it forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale, cross it under. Extending left leg out. Roll to the inner edge of the back foot. Rise up, fallen triangle. Reach the hips high. Exhale, right hand down. Left knee into the chest. And we'll step it through. Rising up, crescent lunge. Find your legs, take a deep breath in. Bring the arms out to the T on the exhale. This time, left arm on top, right arm underneath. And we're gonna lean the weight forward, draw the left hip back, right knee into the chest, and cross right leg over the left. Find your bind here. If you notice your legs twisting to one side of the mat, try to draw them back to center. And staying here, focusing on balance or challenging yourself. Exhale, curling elbows towards the knees. Inhale, straight back up. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift. And exhale, curl. Inhale, lift it up. Unwind the arms. And again, hands come to the hips. Slowly open up towards the right edge of your mat. Taking that wide-legged fold, puff the heart forward. Exhale, lead with the heart. And again, taking the hands where you need to. Instead of rounding down, try to keep the spine long. Lift the sits bones up and back. Extend those hamstrings. Maybe take a little wiggle from side to side. And then find stillness. Really giving those glutes, giving those hamstrings a nice. That was 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to lower it down softly. 6, 7, 8, 2 more. 9, 10. Lower it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk yourself to runner's lunge at the top of the mat. Plant that right hand. Open up to the left edge of your mat. We'll inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, sink them down. Inhale, reach them skyward. Left arm reaches up by the ear. Try to draw that left knee towards the back of the mat to open up the hip. Exhale, left hand down, stepping back to plank. Nice job, last flow. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, high up onto the toes. Slowly with control, bringing those shins all the way down. Coming into tabletop. From here, walking the legs back as you crawl the upper body forward, coming all the way down onto your belly. Make a pillow with the arms. Take the gaze off to one side. And again, coming back to that sensation of slowing down the breath. making it nice and even, evening out your inhales and exhales. Few more. Even in these power practices, we need to find that balance between intensity and rest. So right now, try to enjoy the rest. As you're ready, walking the arms in, coming up to the forearms. We're going to parallel that left forearm with the top of the mat, bend into the right knee, and we're going to reach the right hand back for either the ankle or the top of the foot. From here, keep pressing yourself away from the mat through the upper body and press those right toes towards the back of your mat. Maybe even lift them skyward, coming into a half bow. So opening up through the right shoulder, lifting yourself away from the mat. Kick the toes back, kick the foot back, engage the leg, engaging the muscles on the back. One more breath, kick a little harder, and then slowly release. Right forearm comes down parallel to the top edge of the mat. Adjust the hips if you need to, and then we'll bend the left knee, reaching back for the foot or the ankle with the left hand. And again, start with lifting your upper body away, and then kicking into the foot. Send the hip points down into the mat as you lift the base of the ribcage forward. Kick the foot towards the back of the mat even more. One more breath, lift, and slowly lower. Walking yourself long again. Making a pillow with the arms, take your gaze in the opposite direction. On your next inhale, allow the upper body to draw away from the mat, coming onto the forearms, and this time bending into both legs, reaching back for the right foot or ankle, reaching back for the left foot or ankle, drawing the knees together. Keep trying to draw the toes together as well. The closer the legs are, the more challenging this becomes. Take a deep breath in, try to relax, and then exhale, side out. Inhale, lift, press your feet towards the back of the mat, lift the toes skyward. Rise up high on the hip points. Open the shoulders, open the chest. One more breath in. And then slowly release it down. Making a pillow one more time. This time with the legs, allow the toes to turn out towards the sides of your mat as you find your crocodile. Inhale, begin to push your heart away from the earth, coming back to the forearms. Draw those big toes together, inner thighs together. And we'll extend that right arm, cross the left arm underneath the right, dropping down onto the left shoulder and left cheek. Lift that right knee out to the side of your mat. As you begin to open the shoulders up, that right arm reaches for the left edge of your mat as you come into your spinal twist. So the way that we started it, that right leg should be resting comfortably on the earth, and maybe it's the shoulder that's kind of hanging in space this time. Normally it's the lower half of the body because of the way that we enter, so maybe this time consider supporting that right shoulder. If you'd like to, if it's in your practice, you can take the gaze over the right shoulder. Try to allow the lower body to relax and release. And then with your arms at a T, taking that right arm up overhead and closing a book, bringing the right hand to meet the left. We'll reach the right arm forward, pressing ourselves back up. Draw that right leg along behind. And then we'll move to the other side. Left arm extends long, thread the needle. Right hand reaches towards the left edge of the mat, coming down onto the right shoulder and cheek. Bend the left knee and then open the arms out to a T. Finding your spinal twist on the side. Again, maybe taking a moment to adjust through the shoulders this time. Allow the muscles in the lower half of the body to disengage. Two more breaths to settle in. And this time, rolling all the way onto your spine, facing the back of the mat. So just opening the hips skyward, centering yourself on your mat. Let's draw the knees in towards the chest. Give ourselves a big squeeze. If it feels good, maybe you draw the nose towards the knees. Settle the shoulders back down into the earth. And then extend the legs skyward, coming into your legs up the wall. Maybe you allow the hands to drift up overhead as well. Maybe the arms come down by your sides. Work to lengthen the spine on the mat. One last tuck of the tailbone here. And choosing to stay here or lift the legs up, lift the hips up, coming into your shoulder stand. Maybe allowing the feet to fall overhead as you come into plow. Taking whatever inversion best completes your practice today. I think someone wants to join us for Shavasana. So taking 3 more breaths in that inversion. I think a couple people want to join us for Shavasana. And as you're ready, slowly, with control, making your way along onto the mat. Allowing the body to soften in. Starting with the eyes, allowing them to become heavy as they close down. And then allowing the back of the head, the shoulders, the elbows, backs of the hands, the hips and the heels, all to melt into the earth. As that sense of heaviness comes over the back side of the body, a sense of lightness comes over the front side of the body as your heart opens skyward. And you settle in for your Shavasana. Feeling free to extend your Shavasana, or as you're ready, beginning to reawaken the body. Finding small movements, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, reaching over and giving your puppy a little scratch. And then making those movements larger as they work their way up your body. And when the time feels right, hugging the knees into the chest and rolling over to your favorite side. With one last push of energy, making your way to seated on the mat. Sitting up nice and tall, hands come down by your sides. On an inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, press the breath out and away. Inhale, rising up, reaching up. And as you exhale, let it go. One more deep breath in from earth to sky, breathing in the energy and vitality we've created, and drawing it home to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Taking this energy out into the world and sharing it with everyone you meet. Honoring the light inside and teacher in us all. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Well, thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice today, and thanks for allowing them to join us for Shavasana. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.